The ball is at Arjen Robben's feet, and every person in this stadium knows he's about to break their hearts. Salvador, Brazil, June 13th, 2014. Netherlands versus Spain. The same Spain that destroyed Dutch dreams 4 years ago. The same Iker Casillas who saved that one-on-one. The same crushing defeat that still haunts every sleepless night. But tonight, Arjen Robben has been waiting 4 years for this moment. 89th minute, Spain's defenders closing in. Casillas positioning himself exactly where he knows Robben will shoot, because everyone knows what's coming. Cut inside, left foot, shot. They know it. He knows they know it, and he's going to do it anyway. The ball rockets past Casillas into the bottom corner. Netherlands 5-1. World champions humiliated. But here's what makes this goal terrifying. Arjen Robben just did the exact same move that every defender in world football has studied for 15 years. And none of it mattered, because 4 years ago, this same man was sitting alone in Bayern Munich's medical room, watching his teammates train through the window, whispering to his wife, "What if my body has finally betrayed the best part of me?" 1,507 days lost to injury. Over 4 years of football stolen by breakdowns. Nights lying awake wondering if he had any perfect moments left. But somehow, the most fragile player in world football became the most unstoppable. How does a skinny kid from a windswept Dutch village who everyone said was too predictable spend 20 years proving that perfection is more powerful than surprise? And why did the move that made him a legend almost destroy his career before it even began? Because this isn't just the story of a footballer. This is the story of a man who turned his greatest weakness into an undefendable weapon.
The Boy Who Danced with Wind, Bedum, Netherlands, the year 1984. In a tiny village where North Sea winds sweep across flat farmland, a baby was born who seemed destined to move like the air itself. Arjen Robben wasn't born into football royalty. No academy scouts camping outside his house. No father who played professionally. Just a skinny kid in a quiet Dutch village who discovered something magical. When he touched a football, time seemed to slow down. At 10 years old, while other kids played chaotic playground football, Arjen was practicing something different. The same move, over and over. Cut inside from the right wing, left foot, strike. His father would watch from the sidelines, confused. "Why don't you try going down the outside, Arjen?" "Because Papa, they're not expecting what's obvious." Even as a child, Robben understood something profound about football psychology. Predictability could be a weapon if executed perfectly. FC Groningen noticed this strange boy in 2000. At 16, weighing barely 60 kilograms, he looked more like a strong breeze might blow him away. But when he got the ball, magic. 18 appearances in his first season, 2 goals, but more importantly, something nobody could teach. The ability to see spaces that didn't exist until he created them. By 2002, PSV Eindhoven paid €3.9 million for this teenage wizard from the north, because sometimes genius announces itself quietly, and Arjen Robben was about to become very loud. Chapter 2. The Batman and Robin Show. Eindhoven. At PSV, Arjen formed one of Dutch football's most devastating partnerships with Matthijs Kejman. Fans called them Batman and Robin, a perfect play on words that captured their comic book heroics. But for Arjen, this wasn't about nicknames. This was his laboratory. 33 appearances, 12 goals, and PSV's 17th Dutch title. More importantly, this was where he learned that individual brilliance meant nothing without team success. Every training session, the same routine. Cut inside, left foot, perfect the timing, master the angle. Teammates thought he was obsessed. Coaches worried he was too predictable. They were all wrong, because what Arjen was really doing was turning instinct into art, making the simple impossibly difficult to defend. 2003, Netherlands Young Player of the Year. The boy from Bedum was ready for Europe's biggest stage. But first came heartbreak, hamstring injuries, muscle tears, his body betraying his dreams. At 19, Arjen learned football's cruelest lesson. Talent isn't enough if your body can't carry it. But great players don't let setbacks define them. They let setbacks refine them. And Chelsea was calling. Chapter 3. The Mourinho Masterclass. London, 2004. Jose Mourinho looked at this fragile Dutch winger and saw something others missed. The perfect weapon for his tactical revolution. £12 million. A fortune for a 20-year-old who'd barely played outside Holland. But Mourinho had a theory. He has magic in his left foot. Debut delayed by injury. Broken metatarsal. Missing 16 games before even starting. But when Arjen finally stepped onto Stamford Bridge, the Premier League had never seen anything like it. His pace on the right wing created a new dimension for Chelsea's attack. Defenders faced an impossible choice: show him inside where he was deadly, or force him wide where his speed was devastating. 67 Premier League appearances, 15 goals, 16 assists. Numbers that don't capture the real impact. He made Chelsea champions. 2005, first Premier League title in 50 years. 2006, back-to-back champions. But Spain was calling. Real Madrid, the Galacticos, the biggest stage in world football. What could go wrong?
Chapter 4. The Madrid Mirage. Santiago Bernabeu. 35 million euros, the Dutch wizard joining football royalty. But sometimes, the biggest stages don't suit the most beautiful players. 2 seasons in Madrid, 50 La Liga appearances, 11 goals, a La Liga title, respectable numbers. But for Arjen Robben, respectable felt like failure. The Galactico era was ending, but the pressure remained. Competing with egos, adapting to systems that didn't maximize his strengths. And then came the injuries, ankle problems, muscle tears, the same fragile body that had haunted him since childhood. Sitting in Madrid's medical room, watching teammates train through the window, Arjen made a promise to himself. Next time, I find the perfect fit. Because talent without the right environment is just potential waiting to be wasted. But in Munich, something special was brewing. Chapter 5. The Bavarian Brotherhood, Munich, 2009. When Arjen Robben arrived at Bayern Munich at 25, he was a winger with undeniable talent and an unfortunate reputation for fragility. When he left 10 years later, he was a legend. The numbers from his Bayern career are staggering. 309 appearances, 144 goals, 101 assists. But even those numbers don't tell the whole story, because what really happened in Munich was the perfection of an art form. First season, 37 appearances, 23 goals. The efficiency was remarkable, a goal every 115 minutes when fit. But then came 2010 to 11. World Cup muscle tear, 152 days out, 33 games missed. Lesser players would have broken. Arjen did something different. He studied. Working with Bayern's medical staff, he learned his body's limits, developed strategies for longevity, turned weakness into wisdom, and thus began the most successful decade in his career. 2011 to 12, Champions League final. Bayern versus Chelsea. Extra time. Penalty for Bayern. Arjen steps up, Petr Cech saves, heartbreak again. But sometimes the greatest victories require the deepest defeats, because Wembley 2013 was coming, and Arjen Robben was about to write his masterpiece. Chapter 6. Wembley Redemption. May 25th, 2013. Wembley Stadium. Champions League final. Bayern Munich versus Borussia Dortmund. 89 minutes played. Score 1-1. Corner kick for Bayern. Arjen positioned at the edge of the penalty area. This was it. Everything he'd worked for. All the injuries, all the heartbreak, all the nights wondering if he'd ever reach the summit. The ball comes to him from Frank Ribéry's back heel. In that split second, with 90,000 people watching, with millions more around the world, Arjen Robben does what Arjen Robben does. One touch, left foot, bottom corner, goal. As he wheels away in celebration, tears streaming down his face. You can see the weight lifting from his shoulders. This wasn't just Bayern's Champions League triumph. This was personal vindication. The boy from Batum had reached the summit of European football, scoring the winning goal in the most important match of his career. Man of the match. Bayern's historic treble complete, but his greatest performance was still to come, because the 2014 World Cup was waiting, and Spain needed to be reminded who owned the cut inside. Chapter 7. Brazilian Vengeance. Salvador, Brazil. June 13th, 2014, Netherlands versus Spain. World Cup opener. 4 years earlier, Spain had broken Dutch hearts in the World Cup final. Iker Casillas saving that one-on-one, the near miss that haunted every Dutch football fan. But Brazil 2014 was payback time. Spain takes the lead through a penalty. For a moment, it feels like 2010 all over again. Then Arjen Robben reminds everyone why he's special. First goal. Clinical finish, 1-1, balance restored. But he wasn't done destroying the world champions. Late in the game, ball at his feet near midfield. Multiple Spanish defenders knowing exactly what he'll do. Cut inside. They know it's coming. He does it anyway. Past one defender, past another. Iker Casillas advancing, left foot, bottom corner. Goal! The speed during that run, 31.03 kilometers per hour, among the fastest recorded at the 2014 World Cup. But it wasn't just pace, poetry in motion. 3 goals, 1 assist, bronze ball as the tournament's third best player. The Netherlands reached the semi-finals. Arjen had finally delivered on the international stage, but at 30, time was running out, and his body was sending warning signals. Chapter 8. The Fragile Genius. The cruel irony of Arjen Robben's career. His greatest gift required his body to do things it wasn't designed to do. The statistics are sobering. 1,507 days lost to injury across his career. Over 4 years of football stolen by muscle tears, strains, and breakdowns. 2015 to 16 season. 106 72 days sidelined, 46 games missed, age 32. Alone in Bayern's medical room, watching younger players train through the window, Arjen faced the darkest question of his career. What if this is it? He whispered to his wife Lisa that night. What if my body has finally betrayed the best part of me? The doubt crept in like poison. Every missed game felt like a small death. Every comeback attempt ending in another breakdown. Some nights he would lie awake calculating, how many more cuts inside do I have left? How many more perfect moments before it all ends? But great players don't let fear make their decisions. 2016-17, 13 Bundesliga goals in 26 appearances. His answer written in the only language he truly spoke, goals and glory. I chose one last cut inside, he said later, every single time. His approach to injury became philosophical. He understood that his style, with sudden accelerations and sharp cuts, carried inherent risks. But rather than compromise his effectiveness to reduce injury risk, he chose to be the best version of himself for shorter periods. This resilience wasn't just physical, it was mental, spiritual, because champions aren't defined by their setbacks, they're defined by their comebacks. Chapter 9, The Predictable Masterpiece. Here's what made Arjen Robben unique in football history. Everyone knew his move, but nobody could stop it. By his peak years, every defender in world football knew he would cut inside. Every goalkeeper knew he'd shoot with his left foot. This knowledge became irrelevant because Robben executed his signature move with such precision, pace, and timing that awareness couldn't prevent execution. 80% of his 210 career goals scored with his left foot, each one a masterpiece of predictable perfection. Defenders would overcompensate, showing him wide, only to watch him accelerate past on the outside. Others would force him inside, exactly where he wanted to go, only to see him create the perfect angle for an unstoppable shot. 8 Bundesliga titles, 5 DFB Pokals, Champions League glory. But his real achievement was deeper. He proved that individual genius still matters in football's systematic age. For young wingers learning their craft, Robben provided the definitive template: technical excellence serving tactical intelligence. The inverted winger became a tactical staple largely because coaches witnessed his success and sought to replicate it. But there was only one Arjen Robben. Chapter 10, Full Circle, 2019. Retirement from Bayern Munich. The end of a magnificent story. But then came the surprise, July 2020. After a year away from football, Arjen announces his return to FC Groningen, where it all began. At 36, after a year of inactivity, returning to professional football carried enormous risks. But for Arjen, it was about something deeper than performance. It was about gratitude, closure, demonstrating that success never forgets its origins. 7 appearances, 2 assists, no goals. The statistics were irrelevant. What mattered was the image of Robben in Groningen colors again, older and clearly not the explosive force he once was, but still capable of moments that reminded you why he'd been special. July 15th, 2021, final retirement. The boy from Bedham had completed his journey, returning where it all started with his legacy secure, the eternal cut inside. In the end, Arjen Robben's story isn't about spectacular goals or dramatic comebacks. It's about something more beautiful, the power of perfecting the simple. Every young player who practices the cut inside carries his legacy. Every coach who values technique over pace follows his blueprint. Every fan who appreciates artistry over athleticism echoes his philosophy. 614 appearances, 210 goals, 172 assists. Numbers that tell only part of the story, because his real achievement was showing that football, at its best, transcends competition and becomes art. From windswept fields in Bedham to the grand stages of Wembley and the Allianz Arena, Arjen Robben provided moments that reminded us why we love this game. The Flying Dutchman's wings may have been clipped by time and injury, but his spirit soars eternal in every player who believes that doing one thing perfectly is better than doing everything averagely. The legend lives on, one perfect cut inside at a time.